Good evening and welcome to another Wednesday evening chat with Louise. I hope you're all alright. It's been blowing an absolute gale out here today and the rain, so wherever you are in the country or the world, I really hope that you're alright and you're surviving the weather. Summer ended so abruptly. We just literally, well, we didn't really have summer, did we? It just went a little bit of sunshine, lull you into a full sense of security, and bang, here we go, here's autumn. Anyway, I digress. Not my circus, not my monkeys. First time I heard that, I really loved that saying. I thought it was fun. I found out, had a little look, it's Polish. And what does it actually mean? Really, not my problem. Keep your nose out in a way. And when I first heard it, I thought it was a really good kind of reminder for me, because I will worry for the world. I would get involved with things. If I used to see anybody being, say they were on Facebook, because our local community page is a great one, for instance. Somebody would go on there and make a comment, and then there'd always be somebody with a different opinion, but they didn't do it in a kind way. They'd jump on there and they'd be cool, and then before you know it, you've got all these people being hateful online. And my first reaction would be to wade in there and and then what I used to find was all the hate would turn on me, and suddenly they were all right, fine. So I had to learn that sometimes not my circus, not my monkeys. But also in this world, I feel we've gone the opposite way. The balance isn't there anymore. And when people can walk past people in the street as if they don't exist. Now, I have a huge problem about walking past homeless people. I know there are an awful lot of blaggers, scammers, genuinely not homeless people out there. But equally, there are an awful lot of people that are. I've been so near being there myself, I can't judge. And I would never judge anybody. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day who said, well, I'm not giving them money. And they wanted to, buy them food, and they said no. But actually, when I used to do the farmers markets, I would go into the city centres really early in the morning. You'd see the homeless all around. And then I'd watch them sometimes sat in the doorways. 22 cups of tea later, and however many sandwiches, and it doesn't matter if they share them around people, but there's only so many cups of tea and so many sandwiches, and where do they put them? How do they carry them? They don't last forever. And sometimes a little bit of money can get them into a homeless shelter for the night. Equally, yes, they can go and buy alcohol and drugs with them, but then who would want something to get you through a night on the streets? Because flipping heck, it must be terrifying, especially when I see how young some of them are and how vulnerable some of them are, and especially when I used to see the women there. Don't get me wrong, young boys, it's just as bad for them as well. But yes, so I would give them money, but I always also help and try and ring a crisis line for them as well and try and get them in somewhere that night. So yeah, wasn't my circus, wasn't my monkeys, but I cannot walk past people. Same with animals. If you see somebody leathering their dog on the side of the road, when you're walking around, I'm sorry, but I'm one of them. I wade straight in there. Yes, I know it's probably not safe. Yes, I know they've probably got a knife or whatever. I'm sorry, it's not in my DNA to leave that one alone. Same if I saw a woman being abused or being shouted at, or a child. I would have to do something. And I would like to think in this day and age that anybody that was feeling vulnerable or unsafe could look at me and come to me as a safe place to come to, even if I was just walking down the street. But I do understand why people feel like this. I do understand that you hear so many horror stories about it being turned around on them, that they will just walk past somebody having a fit on the floor. In fact, there was one video that showed people robbing some poor lad. And I just looked and thought, it could be my son. So yeah, it's a great one to learn when we're looking at self-care, which we've talked a lot about over the weeks, looking after ourselves, not feeling like we've got to be responsible for the whole world, because I know myself and I know a lot of women, a lot of people feel like this. We feel responsible, and it's the thing that wakes us up at 3 o'clock in the morning worrying about things that if in the light of day you actually sit and say to yourself, Can I do anything about it? No. And if you genuinely can't do anything about it, fine. Can you find anybody else that can do something about it? Possibly. And then that way, so it's not passing the buck, but it's not taking on everything yourself. And it's, I think another thing that triggered this was somebody in front of me the other day actually ran into a bird going down the back road. It was a pigeon and it was still alive. They pulled up, they looked out their door, and then they drove off and left it flapping. Now, I am not brave and I hate things like that, but that bird could not be rescued. It would have just laid there and died within hours. So I wrung its neck. First time I've ever done that, and it was a horrible experience, and it probably made me feel really sad for about 2 days. But I tell you what, I felt better for doing that because I knew I couldn't save it, but I couldn't walk on by either. That day was my monkeys, was my circus. So how do you feel about this? Because I'm really interested. I'm really interested in trying to find balance in my life. I think we've, as we've been talking on the Wednesday evenings, how, chatting about all these different things, learning when to say no, learning when to get involved and when not to get involved. And, we're quite empathic, as empaths in this world. It is a horrible world sometimes, but it's an amazing world as well. It's a beautiful world, and there are some really lovely people out there. So I think perhaps going forward, no, I don't wade into arguments on Facebook anymore. In fact, I saw one of my friends the other day having a bit of a hard time on there. So I actually messaged them, or just spoke to them later and said, I didn't do anything. I didn't wade in like I used to. But in future, if that happened, would you like me to? And they were like, yeah, please hold my corner. So I would do that. But I still think whatever happens, I'm going to say my piece. If it's really important and I really believe it, then I'm going to say it. But then there are other things in life that I'm perhaps going to let go. One that has been bothering me as well, been driving to the post office, and I noticed a little while ago there was a car parked off. It is a road, but it goes into a lane and nobody uses that road, and it's been parked there for quite a while. And even my mum, when I took her the other day to the hospital, said, that's been parked there for weeks. And I drove past today and I saw it there, and I thought, oh my, what was if somebody had gone to walk their dog, sat there and had a heart attack and had died in the car and nobody had bothered? So yeah, I got halfway home and had to go back. But when I looked today, actually, the council had put a notice on that car. And it was today's date as well, saying if it's not claimed within 7 days, they'll come and take it away. But this is a newish car. It's only 4 years old, taxed and MOT, because I did check. And I just thought, what happens if that person went for a walk and something's happened to them? So I am going to have to see if it goes in the next few days, and perhaps I might pop in the police station and see if they've traced the owner and that they're all right. So I don't know. Where do we draw the line? What makes you sleep at night? And I just think, yes, I'm learning not to stick my nose in, and I'm learning to sit back and just let things unfold sometimes, and let some people fight their own battles. But equally, if the underdog's there, or I really have a gut feeling about something, then I'm still going to wade back in there, and it will be my circus and it will be my monkeys. But I'd love to hear what you think about it. Thank you.